Already had a busy day. Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh, okay. All right, folks. Good afternoon, one and all. Let me just double check everything. Wow, hard to believe. Yes. We are back again. Thank you, RF. Folks, third live, and it's not even. It's just 12 o'clock. My apologies. I had nothing to eat earlier. Folks, we do a drop and go. What can I tell you? Mm. That's what I've heard. Yep. Hola, one and all. Folks, share that you are watching Noon Report on Warwick. We're going to start with that. At 12:06. Oh, okay. Folks, you're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I want to welcome everybody back in that has been watching our live stream coverage. This is the Noon Report, and I'm going to give you the latest. Obviously, folks, busy morning, excuse me, in the city of Warwick. Had a very explosive raid. And I'll tell you, try to bring you up to speed on everything. And it's just another example. For those that are watching on Facebook, remember, you can type in someone's name. That should notify them. You can share that you're watching. And you can also subscribe to the page. Wait, there's more. And also send stars. Now, those that are watching, watching on Facebook, realize that this is the first time you've seen Juan actually eating and drinking while we're doing the Noon Report. However, this morning was one of those times. It's a drop and go. Do you want to be there or not? Now, those that saw it, we were right there. And then I know some people don't know all the dynamics, but then I was actually had to prepare and then also deliver 3-hour radio show. This is hour 2 of it. So So Juan was juggling a lot, but but then I didn't leave that area while I was there, and then also it seemed a little explosive. Um, at the same time, as I was there, Channel 10 came by, but they would not. I wasn't live at that time, and then I went live again. But then some of those people were on still in the area, and they were watching. Not that Oh, okay. I'm looking now of what then they had. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I don't understand. Um, I'm just looking at some of the footage. I don't know why they don't show any of the people, I mean, in the house. If you saw it, and I will address that. But folks, let me stay on schedule here on this Monday that we're already off to the races. Monday, August 7th. This portion of our program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Folks, native vegetables, corn, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, onions, zucchini, yellow squash. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Stop in and see them. Steve and Debbie and Junior and Byron. Folks, they grind it. Next day off is going to be Christmas Day, but stop in. Now, they also have tremendous arborvitae. They have so many great plants that would make, and plantings that would make your property just terrific. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. They also have unique gifts. Shop local, family run business. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now, admittedly, when I am on a crime scene like I was this morning, admittedly, I am out of pocket, what we call out of pocket a little bit, which means I'm not fully up. I am checking everything now. It certainly doesn't seem as if um, anything, happened, so to speak, just this morning. But I do want to. Oh, okay. Suspect arrested in stabbing a man in Newport over the weekend. I did, I did see that. But I also want to. I'm getting more. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, they've been watching that house for some time, without question. I have good video. We're gonna go through it again. I will have the video. The video that, if you missed it, I was showing video of the actual raid. There's two pieces that we have up right now, strictly on Facebook. We will get this up on YouTube after the program. But in the second video, which I did label part two, we do have video of the actual raid as it was going down this morning, and they used the the battering ram. So now I do have some additional information, but as often is the case, I also some people that are watching, and again, good afternoon, one and all. This is the noon report. If you missed it, we will have the video up, but it was an extensive raid, and we also have the video where they use a battering ram. They pull. It was an outside door right off. That was prepared to knock in the front door they had, maybe like a screen door, and then but the individual that seemingly they were looking for came out with his hands up. So it was definitely a work police. Channel 12 is reporting U.S. Marshal. On the earlier live stream in the chat, someone put FBI. I haven't seen that anywhere. I certainly didn't see any presence. That's one of the problems. Um, when people just start posting things, which it can happen. I get that, but we try to deal in accuracy. But at the same time, okay. And just as an update, yes, the Chad Brown, as I posted on the page earlier, one of the victims. Now, the victims were shot really bad Thursday night. Chad Brown. I have someone. that gave me the info on what their injuries were. I didn't post it just because it seemed like it might be a little insensitive, but well, that's not it. One of them got shot. Yeah, okay. Critical one was so the one that died was shot in the head through his ear. The other one in critical was shot in his thigh. Or maybe the other one is the one in critical. Okay. So one I'm hearing one of them that was shot, Chad Brown, was a minor. But let me just stay on schedule here. So the Warwick situation, what do we know? Well, a couple things. If you saw the video of the individuals that were then harassing me for being there, surprise, surprise. Um, I don't know. Someone is saying they've heard the house has been watched for a while and they could have been gang activity. It's possible, but if you saw the video that I will post after this afternoon, it's definitely there's an individual that they want to come out and seemingly did come out, and therefore they did not knock down the door. Now, I do want to mention you have to understand the nature of this. Someone in that neighborhood, who I won't say who, tipped me off this morning that the raid was underway. All they knew were that police had descended on the home and they had a heavy police presence there. All true. Vests on, tactical gear, and they even had the battering ram to take out the part of the screen, and that they had basically overtaken the house. All of that is true. So what did I do? We call drop and go. I immediately, upon that, now on the way there, I had various people I was supposed to be in communication with, and then there was something I couldn't get out of that I had to record with. But the fact is, when I arrived there, it's still very active, and the people from the home seemingly are out in front. But I do want to address, and I use this as an opportunity, because I always think, and I could be wrong, that there are other people out there. And just two quick examples. And I mentioned one of this other Peter. I don't think you should be going on until you can tell us fully what's going on. Meaning, I don't think you should go live until you can fully tell us everything that's going on. Well, okay. Other than I could always say you don't have to watch it, but I'm not going to take that type of attitude. Instead, I believe that, it's totally fine. Some people should just watch the news. And that person, Peter Tetrault, whatever, he should probably just watch. Tonight, 5 o'clock, whatever, on Channel 12, they will have no longer than a minute 20 package on the whole thing. And then he could just watch that. And then they'll, tell him what was happening and so forth. But not everybody wants to, number one, wait that long. And number two, there's a lot that goes on and there's a lot you can learn. And it's interesting, aside from just the minute 20 package. So I'm not going to be flippant and say that you shouldn't watch. Someone like that, what they would be more comfortable with is like a history, like a history book. There are people that, and like I said, when I say it's fine, I think people, you find the source of media that you're comfortable with. Some people still like just reading about something in the newspaper, and that's completely fine. You're going to have to wait until they if they send anyone. If you want to wait, I'll bet on Thursday or maybe tomorrow, the Warwick Beacon will have something in on it. I mean, then just wait. But not everyone wants to absorb information that way. Some people want to get it in real time and get it instant. But the other thing I want to touch on, and this came from Irene. And again, folks, you're listening to the John DePetro Show. Right now, it's 12:17. It's Monday, August 7th on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. But Irene said, I was watching your feed or live stream this morning. I won't read verbatim, and I'm not going to give out her last name. But I was very disappointed in you when you had the footage of someone who was there who was making an obscene gesture at your camera. I was very disappointed to see that. I don't know why you wouldn't block that out. Okay, so I responded. Now, what she's talking about is one of the people from the house, when then they think of this, the police come to your house at 6 o'clock in the morning and they have a battering ram and knock down your door. I actually have the audio of that I could play. And then this, and then they're making, yes, it's true. If you watch it, they were making obscene gestures at me. Hey, Irene, as I said, listen, I didn't know what was happening. If one of them started fighting with police, it's happening in real time. I can't control it. So I did respond and say, you're misunderstanding. Why didn't I edit that out? You can't edit something that is live. I don't. And then I said that wasn't me. It wasn't anyone connected with me, and it wasn't the police. It was the people from inside the house. And one of them, at least one, if not more, were making table for one salutes, obscene gestures. In the second video, one of them came back and was doing some kind of a dance in front of the camera. Listen, I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they're doing that. But what I do know is I can't control their actions. So I said, this was live. We don't have time to edit. And she responds, well, I'm still disappointed in you. I would think you would block that out. Like, she still doesn't get it. So, folks, now again, I'm not going to be, I could say, well, then don't, but I'm not going to say that. But I go out of my way to try to explain. Now, that part, if there's someone from the house, I'm not going to say a gang member, just someone that was seemingly, I don't know if they were there. They may have driven over when they heard something happen, so they could be friends. But they were seemingly with the people that had been inside the house. And first they were in the driveway, and then they moved up to where I was. So Irene is upset that as I was filming, one of them, at least one, could have been more. My phone is blowing up as this is going on, as people are trying to give me information. At least one of them, if not more, were making obscene gestures. And then I think one of the females said something obscene. I'm not positive. But my point is to complain, like, and again, I was, what did she put? She was watching with either her sister or husband. We were very disappointed that you would hear that. Well, I don't know what, if you watch an NFL game, in my defense, I'm not being defensive, but in defense of the coverage. If you watch an NFL game, sometimes if they're down either in the stands or in the sideline, a hot mic can pick up like an F-bomb, right? So that's the nature of the live part. But of everything. Now, listen, here's also my response. If that's your house and you're living there and it's 6 o'clock in the morning and the Warwick police have a battering ram and a warrant and a raid and they are taking you out. Now, obviously it's got to be pretty serious, right? Number one. Number two, I would think that one on the scene live stream should be the last of your concern. Your concern would be you seem to have some legal difficulties here. So, now again, I know people say ignore it, but I always feel maybe it either deserves an explanation or there's other people out there that also they just don't comprehend it. And much like that guy John, who's like, you should not be going on until you have a full understanding and report of everything that what's going on there. But if you watch the live stream, the lead police officer at the scene approached me by name and said, I can't give you anything right now. It doesn't mean something's not coming later. I'm there. I'm communicating with them. What? So in their mind, you should not be doing anything live until you have the complete story. Yeah, that's what a news station. But even the news stations are there filming. Like I just the criticism of this. And Irene, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I should have blocked it out. No, I'm not going to do that because it gives you insight. No, and I'll tell you why. I'm not going to do them a favor. I'd be doing them a favor. because it gives you insight as to the type of individuals that are at that house, who the neighbors have to deal with and the police have to deal with. Much like those people, there were people critical of the live stream coverage we did in Coventry when the neighbor drove her truck on the lawn and attacked the Channel 10 person. Well, you shouldn't be showing that. Like, where does this come off, this element of, there's nothing tremendously violent about it. There's nothing gory about it. Well, you shouldn't be showing that. And then, who was it that, some woman, Holly, said, I watched Channel 12 or 10 or whatever, and they didn't have any coverage of that woman in Coventry. So you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, no. So they chose not to show you what was going on at the scene. In other words, they edited and filtered for what was going on at the scene. I don't like that type of coverage. Other people don't like that type of coverage. In this day and age that we're in right now, where people don't trust the media, no. There's no fit. You're an adult. So Irene is watching it this morning, and one of the gang members, at least one, I think he even did a double. Hey, well, you shouldn't. What do you mean? Like, number one, I left St. Paul's School a very long time ago. Off certainly sounds a lot like the nuts. How about this? And I normally don't say then don't watch, but I have no problem if people say that's just not for me. It's too raw. There are people, these things go on too long. Yeah, it's real. You're used to a TV show. I had someone that complained the other night, the thing at Chad Brown, that you should have been out of there after 15 minutes. You were there way too long. All right, well, first of all, the police didn't brief us until 25 minutes in. And then you learn other things by being there. If we were to follow this logic, then, and I mean it, folks, I will defend, I believe in our concept that I am the creator of, and I'm very proud of it, On the Scene live stream. We go live, you don't have to wait. You find out the news in real time, and you see everything that associated with it. Tonight in the news, we'll have nothing about the individual from the home, their behavior, and then and everything else. But, if we follow this train of thought, if we follow whatever that guy's name is, John Terralt, and then Irene, and then Holly, if we follow that on 9/11, let's apply that logic. You people are filming. You should not be filming the World Trade Center. You don't know what happened. You don't have all the information of how that fire started. You should not do any reporting or show anything until you have a full package of everything that happened. All right, now anyone with a brain would say, well, that's ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. But I'm very comfortable with the direction that we are taking this and have taken it. And there are some people, and I get it. There are other people in traditional forms of media that they're critical of it. Someone will go unnamed, who's a radio host, said, you don't hear us talking about the Charlotte Lester case. Nope, not until we have all the facts. Well, what good is that doing? That's a big story. That's a missing persons case. And let's talk about that for a moment. And I do have an update coming on that this week. But let's talk about the Charlotte. So can you imagine such a thing to brag about? And it was a radio station. We haven't done any coverage on that, and you're not going to hear any coverage. Oh, yeah, because that's helpful. All right, let's talk about it. How many missing persons cases have we had, let's just say, in the last year? Well, the woman from Brockton was missing. She was found in Carbuncle Pond. And let's see, what are the missing persons cases do we have? Charlotte Lester. What does that tell you? The unusual nature of it. And we have learned a lot and shed a lot on the story by drawing attention to it. So the radio host version of, well, we are not discussing this until we have all the... Well, then by then, What's the point? What's the point of that? I do have an update on it, but it's going to come. It's not going to come today. I don't think so, unless I get a full rant. But folks, I fully and I want you to understand, like it. There are people. This notion that it what you're and it's almost like a criticism, right? Like what you're doing is different than Channel 12. Yes, exactly. Maybe you're not as stupid as I thought you were. Yes. Well, time out. Wait a minute. What you're doing, Channel 10's not exactly. Right, they're not doing it, which is why we do it. What is wrong with you? What do you think? I'm just going to follow along like a penguin? Well, the radio stations are not covering them. Yeah, fine, whatever. They're just in reactionary mode, right? That's what makes it different. They view something different, the critics, as something wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It fills a void. That's where we are different. And then if someone were to try to do it, then you differentiate yourself from that. But it's not your imagination. But I just don't understand why some people have such a mental block about it. But I want to be really clear. If there's someone that said, listen, if there's something going on, I'm working, I don't want to know about it, I will just turn on the news tonight and watch it. That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. As someone sent me I've always watched Channel 6. I don't need to watch you. If it happens, I'm going to turn on Channel 6 and find out about it. I can live with that. However, not everybody wants the news the way you want it delivered. So I'm willing to accept that you prefer until the story hits Channel 6, then you'll watch it. I am completely fine with that. And the same thing, the radio host. We're not discussing the Charlotte Lester case until there's an arrest. Okay, well, you may never be discussing it. But I would argue, and my comeback for that is, I'm willing to accept that you're perfectly entitled to get your news that way. However, I would argue there are other individuals that don't want to get their news that way. So I'm willing to accept that you can absorb it, but just accept that other people don't want to play by that or go along with that. So now this business of too long, those of you that watch, many times things can happen at the end of a scene, right? It's a live dynamic. You don't know. I'll go back to, and it's an extreme example, but people were saying there was too much. You don't need the coverage on 9/11. All right, we get it. Planes hit the building and they came down. That should be the end of it. Okay, but later, because television was live, another building collapsed. So these individuals that they're such know-it-alls, like they speak for everybody. I don't know what to make of it. They're very vocal, though. They have no problem reaching out, and they know what's best. You should not even be in front of that house until you have all the facts and know everything that played out. Well, what's the point? By then, the story's blanking over. What are you talking about? All of these individuals, by the way, that I have mentioned, whoever the other person was, Irene, Holly, I invite you to start your own media platform and deliver the news exactly as you're describing. Hey, who am I, right? Who knows? Good luck on that. Maybe it'll work out terrific. I don't see the advantage, right? I give the example. How many people how many people are going to put on the news tonight to find out who won the baseball game from last night? On a Monday during football season, when you put on the sports at 6:20, Are you learning for the first time who won the game from the day before? No. When you get the newspaper, are you learning? No. You know from the night before. I like that. Well, I don't see these other people doing it. Exactly. That's our niche. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like you have all these Italian restaurants, and then you come along and you open a Chinese restaurant. Right. Because not everyone wants to eat Italian, Harry. Folks, this portion of the program on this Monday, as Juan's in full rant, it's brought to you by J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience in commercial paving. I like to share some of the work they do because the visual is very, very powerful when you see the before and after. So residential paving, seal coating, letter J Perry Paving, free estimate, any project. Call now, 401-732-1730 for a free quote. 401-732-1730, letter J Perry Paving. Licensed and insured contracted company. Committed to meeting their clients' needs. Now, how big or how small? Whether it's a brand new paving project or just a cracked driveway, affordable, smooth, safe to drive on, aesthetically appealing, you can depend on J. Perry Paving. Call them today, 401-732-1730. Let me be very clear. Let me ask a question. Are you thinking of getting your driveway paved? Would you like to find out how much it would cost? That's fair. No obligation. Call them. 401-732-1730. I know a guy. 401-732-1730, letter J Perry Paving. Now, later today, we will have full video of the Warwick situation, and then I also have the video that no one else has of the when they were tearing down the front door, and then one suspect came out with his hands up. We'll have that up on the website, DePetro.com. Brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Folks, and also, I'm on a full rant here on this Monday. Do we monitor police scanners and activity? Yes, everybody does. Anyone so you're monitoring? Yes. As a matter of fact, yes, guilty. Everybody does. I'm not even breaking new ground with it, to be honest with you. The better question is, how do you think that a news outlet, let's go outside of Rhode Island, let's go to like Channel 7 in Boston. How do you think when they're filming a scene, by the way, yesterday there was an incredible standoff in Dorchester, but how do you think do you think it's magical that the news stations arrive and have coverage there? How do you think they find out about it? I mean, like, I don't understand. Oh, so you're monitoring yes. As opposed to how else do you think how else do you think now? Many times I get tipped off on things that don't appear. For instance, the raid this morning was not necessarily over the scanner. It was a neighbor that tipped me off. Many times there are people in the neighborhood that tip me off, which comes in handy. Members of Team One. But again, they treat it like a negative. How do you think, like, the Boston stations learned about? No, the Dorchester standoff started as something had happened outside, and then the police arrived. But that's how else are you gonna? What do you think? They just like ride around, and they magically stumble upon it? It just doesn't work that way. It works that way in every city, probably actually around the world, but certainly in our country. The criticisms that people have, I also notice there's no criticism of the individuals in the house. There's no criticism. That woman, Irene, wasn't even criticizing that the people seemingly connected to the house that got raided by the Warwick police this morning. She wasn't objecting that they were making obscene gestures on the live stream. She was objecting that I was showing it. I didn't know what I didn't choreograph it with them. All right, when I come around the corner, that's when you guys do the table for one salute. I don't know who those individuals are. As I said, I don't know if they live there, they're friendly with the people there. Maybe they showed up when they heard this was going on. I have no idea. But the but as far as the coverage of being there, that was enough. Like the Chad Brown thing. That's after 15 minutes, like what do you I'll have to find out who sent that. After 15 minutes, that was enough. I think it was Mitch. That was enough. You should have then left. But the police didn't talk to us till 25, and even then the details were sketchy. I don't know. I mean, I could always say don't watch, but I do try to digest and absorb. Like, where's the criticism coming from? They're uncomfortable. You don't need to be showing that. You shouldn't be showing it. What am I showing? Like, it makes them uncomfortable that the police are investigating. It's like the criticism on the Charlotte Lester thing. Don't discuss it. Let the police do their job. Well, the more awareness you bring to a story, many times leads develop from that. Why do these people get uncomfortable if we're discussing a story in the news? You shouldn't be even discussing it. It's not interfering with the investigation. I think it's I actually don't know what it is. I don't relate to it, that's for sure. But it's almost people that are kind of they're afraid of the real world is the best way. They're very ostrich head in the sand individuals. No one should be filming it or discussing it. What they're really saying is, I'm uncomfortable for whatever reason, and therefore no one should be viewing this. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know what I don't really understand? Are the people that are upset that anyone's watching it or doing that. Much like, and I've used the example in the past, I never got the no J people. There were stations that no J, no J. We're not discussing the Simpsons case. Nope. O.J. Simpson is a nope. No O.J. talk here. What is the point of that? Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by AJ Drywall, Plasters, and Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial, rehabs, painting, remodeling. They could do it all. Serving Rhode Island and southeastern Mass, it's AJ Drywall, Plasters, Home Improvement. Now, they are family-run business, and they're hungry. They want your business. Why not call them for a free quote? Maybe you're thinking of having a home office put in. Why not? Maybe it's time to transform part of your home into a real office. AJ Drywall, Plasters, Home Improvement. Give them a shot. 401-323-9252. AJ Drywall, Plasters, Home Improvement. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show. I also want to mention, and he is really incredible. Special shout out, Jamie's Power Wash. J. Freitas Construction, deck staining, residential, commercial, Jamie's Power Wash. I want you to picture some green stains, and he comes out magical. Boom. He is professional. I love his van. Red, white, and blue van. Jamie's Power Wash, commercial, residential. Get rid of that algae and moss, and he does it. And he gets, boom, it looks brand new. Now, we have some deck railing that goes around. If you watch Juan After Dark sometimes, Juan is sitting outside. And you get some of that green algae, moss, green stains. It just looks rather unseemly. I'm sure Irene and the other people are complaining about it. Well, no more. Irene. Good night, Irene. Nope. Because Jamie's Power Wash took care of that. I can't wait to highlight it. Tremendous. 401-837-4545. Now, we had some of that green algae moss growing on our hoop court. Not that it's being used a lot, but you still just hate, it's just no reason to have it there. So we took care of it. Jamie's Power Wash. I will be sharing the Facebook page again. 401-837-4545. I love that I shared the page. And immediately some of his other customers like, oh, he's amazing. And he is. Jamie's Power Wash. And also, handyman services, commercial, residential, deck staining. What a difference he makes. And he gets right to it. So he came this morning. I saw him for about 2 seconds. Because then he knew exactly what to do because I had sent him photos. Because I'm off to the raid in Warwick. And then, so I'm not even fully communicating with him, but then you come back and it's like done. He's just incredible. Jamie's Power Wash, 401-837-4545. There's something else going on that is dangerous that you're not going to hear anyone else mention, by the way, and therefore I'm going to mention it. But there's another trend that some people may or may not pick up on. So, in what I'm talking about is, so you have the situation with, there's two things that are going on right now. And hear me out, everybody. Just check the time. 12:44. We're good. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, so this morning you have the Warwick raid. Based on the behavior of the individuals in the house and the way that's a nice neighborhood, by the way. That is a nice neighborhood. But I want you, this shouldn't be lost, and no one else is going to tell you this. You know what? No one else will say this, but I'm going to say it. That type of activity in the past, normally, you would see in Providence, right? Or maybe Pawtucket or CF, maybe Woonsocket. But now the story hasn't fully broken yet. But some people, especially those that follow our live in the page, would know that just last month, I went to a similar type of raid in Coventry, right over the West Warwick line. Pulaski, I think. Yeah. So large-scale house, pretty good size, and Jamaican gang living there. And some of them are detained. Now, that's a little bit different because there was some undercover officers there, and I communicated with the police. And I didn't want to blow their cover. Could have gone live. Actually went live really briefly. But then we shut down to protect their identity. But I want you to realize what's happening under McKee Matos. As I have said, I'm going to have to be the voice of the Republican Party because they're too silent for my liking. But look at what's happening. In Rhode Island, the big push right now, for those that are paying attention, is we need to put more low-income housing into all the communities. We need to put more low-income housing in Warwick. We need to put more low-income housing in Cranston. We need to put more low-income housing in North Providence. We got to put more low-income housing into Lincoln. And in a span of just 2 months now, you have the drug raid, Warwick. I don't know what that was this morning. We'll find out. But that was a pretty serious raid. My point is, folks, that with McKee Matos administration that is so damaging to Rhode Island, many of you don't even realize the damage that this governor is doing. I am telling you, for all of these individuals that are focused on Hunter's laptop, Hunter's laptop. I wish we could focus on that. Hunter's laptop. All the people are concerned about that. And they're blind as to what's going on around them. The McKee push is let's get the gang activity into the suburbs. Let's get more, quote, low-income housing in North Kingstown. Let's get some low-income housing in South Kingstown. Let's get some more low-income housing in West Warwick and Exeter and the Situate. We need to get some more low-income housing and to come. All what they're really doing. This was the second raid, just one a month now, on individuals that normally you would associate. And I know people are going to say, that sounds racist, but I'm just dealing in reality here. Individuals you normally would associate with more of the urban areas. So this is a danger. Other people have talked about it. I'll see people post, I don't go to Providence anymore. I got news for you. Providence is coming to you. Providence, Pawtucket. They're realizing the Coventry raid was eye-opening to me, because you think, who set up? How did a Jamaican gang, drug dealers, and one of them, at least one of them, are total killers. They have absolutely killed people. I have a posting on it on the website, DePetro.com. Again, I'm the only one that has that. Much to Irene doesn't like that. Some of these other people, Holly. What's that guy's name? Critical. Your post, Peter Terrell. You're posting things that the television stations aren't posting. Guilty as charged, Harry. I'll have to live with it. They're spreading the violence out. So, as much as people are moving out of Providence, Pawtucket, the low-income housing is, we're going to put them into all the surrounding communities under the guise of that. And as far as the gang, the way I understand it, and by the way, I did speak with a police officer, and one of the individuals from Coventry who's being detained he's a killer. They've totally killed. Now, they may have killed other gang members, but if someone can take a handgun or a weapon, the hardest thing is for them to commit that first homicide. If they can commit the first homicide, after a while, it all just starts to pile up. But now, the other thing that the media is not going after enough is that rep in Providence who associating with and almost on the payroll for these after-hour places, and the clubs are supposed to close at 2:00. The police go in at 3:30, and he's in there with them. What is he doing with them? Right? That Providence rep, who identifies himself as a socialist. The police are going to go in and raid an after-hours place, 3:30 in the morning in a section of Providence, and a state rep is standing guard outside and runs interference and stops the police so the people inside can have time to hide drugs, hide weapons, get everybody out of there. And he's not even called out by the Democrat Party. So I don't think people fully absorb what's happening here. The crime is going hand in hand with it's different than it was in the past, but the political leaders, they're aligned with it. If people are following that, right? Governor McKee is very clear. All he wants to do is push all the problems into the suburbs. Notice, where did he house those homeless people? Are they in Cumberland? No. Are they in Lincoln? Guess again. No. Are they in Providence? Nope. If they're in Providence, they march to the State House. Where is he paying their rent? He offered them free rent in Warwick on Jefferson Boulevard. And the Warwick mayor doesn't seem to be complaining. The mayor of Cranston complained, Mayor Hopkins. He has a backbone. What I feel bad about in Warwick is you have a mayor there who is seen as soft, whether it's fair or not. And I've met him, I've interacted with him. He's been nothing but friendly to me. But he doesn't, Poopy Pants Bacchus gets capped on a DUI and he doesn't say a word. She even punched a police officer, didn't say anything. Then you have Rob Cody, a citizen, gets up at a city council meeting and is let out in handcuffs because the woman running the meeting doesn't like him. And everyone's critical of it. But he doesn't say a word. I think that's interesting. But the crime thing, folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show is brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. 3 generations. They're available 24/7. You can depend on Propane Plus. Call them today. They are a tremendous company. They're the type of people you want to do business with. If you use propane, call Propane Plus today, 401-885-4209 for Propane Plus. Now, they also have a very user-friendly website. Residential, commercial, it's Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. So, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, I also want to give an example. You hear me mention him, Ryan's Appliance Repair. Now, today is Monday, all day. Friday afternoon, we went to use our washing machine, and the knob is stripped. It can happen. No one broke it. The knob is stripped. What did I do? Did I try to fix it? I admit I did not. Did I run out and buy a new one? I did not. Well, if you didn't try to fix it and you didn't buy a new one, then what did you? I called Ryan's Appliance Repair, 401-710-7096. I sent him a picture of the knob and the serial number. In real time, I'm going to track with you. We're going to track when it's going to be repaired. But that's what I did. So when I encourage you when your appliance is dying, I think the washing machine is fine, but the knob just stripped, which happens. I called Ryan, and I am fully confident that he will, in fact, repair it. 401-710-7096. Well, why am I so confident? We had a problem with the dryer, and he fixed that. And then we had a problem with the ice maker in the refrigerator. Something broke off. And then he even fixed our microwave, and his dad came. Folks, Ryan's Appliance Repair. Maybe that happens to you. Any appliance, washing machine, dryer, stove, refrigerator, garbage disposal, Ryan's Appliance Repair. Call today, 401-710-7096. Now, Ryan said, I'm going to order the part. Okay. And then today's Monday. Contacted him Friday. Juan is patient Juan. And let's look at the positive. It is going to be repaired. When your appliance is dying, just call Ryan, 401-710-7096. You know, folks, I had a conversation recently. Good afternoon, everybody. At 12:56, you're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I try to use different analogies to make it easier for people to understand, but like to me, if your house, just as an example, if your house is on fire, do you care that it's a nice day out? If your house is on fire, do you care if it's night or day? Do you care that if your house is literally on fire, do you care there's a festival going on? Maybe it's a nice beach day. Do you care? No. Why? Because your house is on fire. Right now in Rhode Island, because I spoke with someone recently, and he said, you seem to spend, he's saying to me, Is it Miami? You seem to just spend more time on crime than covering things at the State House. And I said, you're not wrong. That's true. That is true. But to me, they go hand in hand. What is the point? No, I'm not going to go up there and waste my blanking time as they're debating some bill or whatever. You're missing the point. Governor McKee has outlawed a legal gun owner now can't have the same number of magazine clips in his gun that he used to. And we've talked about this with John Francis Competition Shooting Supplies. He doesn't say a word. Governor McGreed, who will go down as the worst governor we've had since Ed DePetro because of the corruption. He doesn't say a word that on Salmon Street, those of you that saw that was more than 12 shell casings. At Chad Brown, there were shell casings in the car, there were shell casings in the grass, there were shell casings in the street. That was maybe 30 shots went off. McKee doesn't say a word about that. He doesn't say anything about all his pushing of the low-income housing. He's pushing all crime into the suburbs. Doesn't say anything about it. What does he want to do? He wants to try to penalize legal gun owners. Never says anything about them. Nothing. One other note about crime. Notice since this happened, especially like Chad Brown, you don't hear, or Salmon Street, you don't hear one elected official say, and I encourage everyone in the neighborhood to cooperate with police and tell them what they know. Never. Never comes up. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. We have another full hour to go. We will have the video up on both YouTube and on the website on the big raid in Warwick this morning. Pretty explosive. But another full hour to go. I don't know. We'll see what develops. I would imagine we're going to do Facebook Live later on the scene live stream. But right now, let's break for the 1 o'clock news. Another full hour to go on the John DePetro Show.